Ever seen a stock that just catches fire? Well, today we're going to be detectives and break down the anatomy of a massive market surge, looking at one company that absolutely exploded. Let's dive in. Just look at that number, 18.18%. In a single day. That's not just a good day, folks. That is a statement. A really, really loud one. And a move that big? Well, you gotta ask, what in the world just happened here? So that's our mission for today. We're putting on our detective hats to figure out exactly what caused this massive explosion. So the stock we're putting under the microscope is a company called MultiSensor AI, ticker symbol MSAI. What happened here is basically a textbook example of a breakout, and we're going to pull it apart piece by piece. Okay, so right off the bat, things look pretty strong. You've got that huge gain and a really solid technical score. But here's where it gets weird. Look at the beta. At just 0.177, this stock is usually way less volatile than the overall market. So the mystery just got deeper. Why did this normally quiet stock suddenly go supernova? All right, so to crack this case, we have to start with the number one rule of any investigation. You follow the money. And on Wall Street, that means one thing, looking at the trading volume.
And wow, just look at this. The volume wasn't just up a little bit, it was nearly 18 times its normal daily average. This wasn't just a few people getting interested, no, this was a full-on stampede.
But, and this is where our little detective story gets a really interesting twist, because when you look a little closer at who was doing all this trading, the clues, they start pointing in completely different directions. And here it is. It's a real head-scratcher. On one hand, you have a key indicator showing that big institutional money has been buying up shares like crazy. That's a super bullish sign. But at the exact same time, another indicator is flashing red, suggesting that some people are quietly selling and taking profits as the stock rockets up. It's a classic tug of war. Okay, so we know how much money is moving around, but now we need to look at how fast it's moving. What's the energy behind this? It's time to investigate the momentum. And to do that, we're going to use a tool called the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a speedometer for the stock's momentum. If that speedometer goes above 70, it means the pedal is pushed all the way to the floor. And looking at the dashboard here, wow, that engine is screaming. The MACD is bullish, which means the upward momentum is actually getting stronger. And that RSI speedometer, it's clocking in at almost 72, firmly in that overbought zone. This absolutely confirms the buying has been ferocious, but it also kind of raises a little yellow flag, suggesting the stock might need to pull over for a quick breather. This brings us to a super critical part of the investigation. A single day is one thing, but to really get what's going on, we need to zoom out and put this short-term frenzy into its proper long-term context. And yeah, looking at the short term, there's just no other way to describe it. It's a rocket launch. The stock's price has completely disconnected from where it was just a few days ago. The numbers here just tell the whole story. The price right now is 156. Its average over the last 5 days, 110. The last 10 days, under $1. This thing isn't just climbing a hill, it's a violent break into a whole new altitude. But here's the thing. This incredible move isn't happening in a vacuum. It is running headfirst into the stock's long-term trend. And believe me, a major battle is brewing. So, the key piece of evidence here is the 200-day moving average. A lot of traders see this line as the ultimate judge of a stock's long-term health. And for a long time, MSI was trading below it. But with this surge, it hasn't just crossed that line, it has absolutely smashed right through it. This is a huge signal that the entire long-term story for this stock might be changing right before our eyes.
So let's recap the evidence. We've got conflicting volume, supercharged momentum, and a major trend break. So what happens next? Well, based on all this, it looks like there are 3 possible futures for this stock.
So how could this play out? Well, path number 1 is the bullish rally. The momentum keeps going and it breaks through the next ceiling at 1.85. Path 2 is the bearish pullback. This was just a flash in the pan, the momentum dies, and the price falls back to find support around 1.27. Or there's a third way. The stock just kind of catches its breath and trades sideways for a bit while the market figures out what to do next. Okay, we've looked at the evidence, we've looked at the motive, we've considered the context. Let's put all these clues together for our final conclusion. What does this all really mean? And in this chart, pretty much says it all. When you weigh all the technical evidence, it's overwhelmingly bullish. About 3/4 of the signals, from momentum to the big trend break, are flashing green. But you still have that 25% slice of caution, mostly from that overbought RSI and that weird divergence in the volume data we saw earlier. So what's the bottom line from all this analysis? Well, the conclusion seems to be that this isn't just a one-day wonder. All the signs are suggesting that this stock is actually in the early stages of a major new uptrend, and it could have substantial room to run. The technicals are definitely telling a powerful story here, but that leaves us with the final and maybe the most important question of all, and it's one that charts alone can never answer. Are we watching a real fundamental shift in this company's future, or is this just a momentary speculative frenzy? That's the key question to think about. Thanks for joining me on this investigation.